starve the facts. That's how the freedom slowly cracks. Hello everyone, I'm Avni and standing here today feels very special thanks to TEDx. I'm still a student, still figuring out the world, but there is one thing I started to understand very deeply. The value of free voice. The freedom of press topic is very underrated topic, I understand. Many of you don't even care about the journalists. And it's totally fine, I get it. Even I used to neglect this topic. But as I grew older, I started noticing things. Watching news with my family, I saw how the same story looked completely different on two different channels. One called it a success and the other called it a failure. I remember turning to my father and asking him, is it true? Which one is true? Is it a success or actually a failure? He smiled and said something that stayed with me. He said, that's why free press matters. Without it, we may never know the truth. That was the moment I realized that freedom of press is not about journalists, it's about us. It's about whether we live in a world where voices can breathe freely or whether it's suppressed. Let me give you a few examples. In Bangladesh, more than 160 journalists lost their official press passes. Imagine, one day you're a reporter and the other day you can't even enter a government event, let alone being a participant in it. You can't even enter it. Your job, your voice just cut off. And in Turkey, the two reporters were deported, literally thrown out of the country. Not for breaking a law, not for lying, just for showing the truth. Just for showing what was actually happening. In Hong Kong, two editors were sent to jail under an old sedition law. Their crime? Publishing articles critical of the government. The government got scared and sent them to jail. And even in India, a documentary made by BBC was blocked from being shown. Why? Because it showed sensitive content critical of the government again. So the problem is the fear that we are scared to show something because of the suppression of the government. You may all be thinking right now that, okay, fine, wonderful, it's a good topic, but why should I care? I'm not a journalist, why should I care about it? Let me tell you why. Because when the press is silenced, the citizens go blind. Tell me one thing, if the journalists cannot ask questions, how will we know what is happening? If the newspapers cannot print the truth, how will we know when the leaders go wrong? And if the media can't publish, if the media is controlled, how can we tell just from the propaganda? Democracy is not just about pressing a button on a machine. It's not just about voting. It's about raising our voices. It's about making an informed choice. And for that, we need people who investigate. We need people who research deeply. I know it's uncomfortable, but we need to do it. Especially when it's uncomfortable. Because when we know that something is going on wrong, we need to correct it, don't we? If you agree with me, please raise your hands. We need to correct this. And it cannot just happen in blink of an eye. We cannot just stand here being a ghost and pretending that we are helping, but we are not. So let me give you a personal example so that you can connect with it more deeply. Suppose you are on a WhatsApp group, on a friend's WhatsApp group, on a society's WhatsApp group, or a random GC on Instagram. And one gossip comes. Oh my God, it's so entertaining. A random hot gossip about your friends, politicians, and you love it. It's so good that you love it. It's so entertaining. And when you think about it, you started to enjoy it. But I was also one of these, and I completely understand you. But there is one thing. Everybody believed it. Everybody was like, oh my God, it's truth. It might have happened. Until a teacher or authority points out that no, it is false. It's not truth. That's when people start to agree. And there are three types of people. First people are those that, like me, When I saw the news, a random news or gossip about my friends, I didn't really believe it at first. I was like, give me the proof, prove it that this is correct. And then I will believe you, okay, fine, I'll trust you. And then the second category comes where, okay, you believe the gossip, you believe the news, but you still want the proof. You believed it until it was not like important in or critical in your life, so you believed it. But then you were presented by the truth that it's false. And you were like, okay, the source is valid. I'll leave this point behind. And then there is the third category. Even after giving the proofs and the truths and the sources, they still refuse to believe the truth. They're like, you told me this criteria, you give me this criteria first, this is only correct. The second one doesn't matter. Why did you came later? If this is the truth, you should have came first. This is the third category. And also, I have seen in many households, even in my own, I have an elder sibling. Like suppose she broke a vase or a glass, and then she's scared. If my parents got to know that, they will scold her, they will ground her, they will beat her or something like that. Fear, basically. So she told me not to tell to them. And being an honest girl, I wanted to tell to them. It's just a mistake. It's fine. They'll forgive you. It's not a big deal. Don't worry. But the problem is, she was so scared. I don't know why. She threatened me that if you will tell them, I'll slap you and I'll beat you. Of course, even I got scared. And I was not fearless when I was younger. And nobody is fearless when they are small kids. So I stopped. I zipped my mouth, locked it, and threw the key in the pool or a pond. I didn't tell it to anybody. But I realized, when I think about it, now I realize it, that it was not a good thing that I stopped. I needed to tell the truth. It was a small thing, but it can be on a big scale. So this is a small matter, like the WhatsApp group example. It's a small group of people. And the household matter I told you, still a small group of people. Now imagine this situation, this scenario on the national level. On a national level with millions of people, with millions of different opinions and millions of different mindsets. Do you think even after proofs and even after good sources, you will be able to prove yourself right? No. And if you think you can prove yourself right, please raise your hands. It's fine. Everybody has their different opinions. But I'm sure, even if you present a table with thousands of proofs and they are still stubborn that no, I know what I know, they will not believe you. Even if the sources are correct, they will not believe you. And that is why freedom of press really matters. It's not just about the journalists, it's about us. We need to prove ourselves right. When we grow older, we have seen, we need to choose an occupation. And that occupation is a service in its own. Suppose you're a doctor, you're helping your society. You're an engineer, you're helping the society. You're a lawyer, you're helping the society. But when you choose an occupation that requires your freedom of speech and it gets suppressed, somehow you're trying, you're willing to help society, but the authorities do not allow you. Let me give you a few examples. The immense courage of people. In Myanmar, two reporters, Wal On and Kwaso U, they spent years in prisons just for reporting a massacre of Rohingya community. Their crime? I don't understand. They did nothing wrong. They just reported what was wrong. And in Belarus, when the news websites were banned, the editors continued to publish from exile. They faced a lot of trolling, a lot of threats, but they still continued. They knew the consequences, that they might be imprisoned or something like that, but they were courageous. They chose to tell the truth. And even in India, reporters like Siddharth Vadrarajan continue posting like this. He faced a lot of trollings, threats, and even attacks, but he did not stay quiet. And when I think about it, I analyze some points about it, I realize, if they can do such good and big deeds, can't we at least do the bare minimum? What's the problem? Please raise hands if you want to do the bare minimum with me. Let's do it together. Let's unite ourselves. We can do this. But how we will do this? Let me tell you. We can be curious. We can be curious about the information we get. Suppose we get a message from our family group, friends group, and even rumors roaming around the school corridors. We can analyze them. We can research about them. We can talk to teachers, friends, students, right? So we can be curious. You should question yourself. Why am I trusting this? Why are they telling me this? Why is it even going on, or something like that? Second, we can be responsible. And if we are told, and if it's not appropriate, we should not spread it. Although I agree rumors are spread like wildfires, I agree with it, but we can be responsible, right? Why should we tell? Third, we can be courageous. If we know the truth, we should not stay quiet. We should tell. You should not be scared of anything. What's stopping you? You scoldings from your parents that you shouldn't have told this, but you are telling the truth, right? Why should you be scared? You are doing a good deed. And by this, I do not mean that you should argue with your elders. You should definitely respect them. There's a difference between standing up for yourself and disrespecting. You don't have to disrespect. That's a bad thing. Throw it away. You need to stand up for yourself, for your nation, for your society, for your people. Me as well. I want to do this. And I will try my best to do this. And the fourth thing we can do is we can stand up. If we see something wrong going on, we can say, no, this is wrong. Stop doing it. This is all we have to say. We did a good deed and that's all we have to say. So these were some things we can do and we can try to do. And I want to leave you all with a thought. Small thought, not a big thought, just a small one. Imagine a world. Imagine a world where everything is controlled by the authorities, where criticism is crime, where you do not have the freedom of speech. And if you speak something, you will be imprisoned. You will be punished for saying the truth. Just imagine this world where safety is only in silence. You will only be safe and happy if you're quiet. Can you imagine this world? Can you live in this world? If you think that you can live in this world, please raise your hands. I am very impressed that no hand were raised. I am very impressed. And I understand that you are listening to me. And thank you so much for listening to me. I will end my words with a small quote. No press, no truth, no light to see. A nation blind can never be free. Thank you so much for listening to me this carefully. And I hope I made an impact on you because these words made an impact on me. Thank you very much.